Hey guys, and welcome back to Twilight Princess. Last time we got the first of the few shadows, but sadly we have to leave the Faron province to get the rest of them. So let's listen to Faron here waffle on for a bit, and then head on out.
How fitting that we're starting another episode with more godly exposition.
Right?
I know, it's like, no offense, but this isn't my first time playing a Zelda game. I know that once I do the first dungeon, the next place I'm going is either a volcano or a mountain. You don't guys spell it out for me.
Like, I don't necessarily agree with the Ocarina of Time sequelitis, but I will agree on the fact that the 3D Zelda's got more talky over time.
More talky, and once again, like, you can talk about how the characters are different and how the tone is very different, but just the simple fact that the first half of this game follows the exact same thematic schedule, you can't defend that.
Yeah.
And that's just letting us know that Wolf Link will be coming back. He may not have been the primary gameplay mechanic that they had in development, but damn it, we gotta use this transformation sequence somehow.
It's like, we put a lot of time and effort into this gameplay mechanic, so you're gonna use it, and you're gonna be happy about it.
Yeah, we could have been fleshing it out more, but it's already made, so let's just use it a whole bunch of times, and hopefully you'll just love it by osmosis.
Yeah, you go ahead and hide in my shadow while I do all the hard work. Cheers, Midna.
Goddamn ulterior motives.
Oh, come on, opponent, let's get out of here. Huh.
What? No. This isn't happening, Tom. Twilight Princess was built on horseback combat. What are we gonna do?
Bring in the ATV.
Oh my god. Bring in the giant pew-pew shooting robot.
What, you didn't want a modern take on Zelda? Too bad.
Nope. Instead, have a giant pew-pew spider robot in your Hyrule field.
I felt really bad about not buying anything from this guy, so we're gonna pick up a bottle here.
But why? You can get oil in other places. You don't even really need it.
Well, it's mostly for the bottle. I want 2 bottles filled to the brim with delicious Lon Lon milk, or whatever it's called in the Twilight Princess.
It's probably the same thing. It's very special milk. Premium milk in other games. They just like to mix it up. I like how he talks about, man, the world we live in. It's like he's trying to be a real-life person. Like, man, that economy, no!
Right? How many dungeons have you been into in your life?
Oh, you had to deal with shiny bugs? Oh, how terrible. Here, let me give you the newspaper of time, and hopefully that'll help.
Yeah, maybe not set on the outskirts of a province and try to peddle oil to people next time.
Tom, what do you think of the theme that plays in Twilight Princess's Hyrule Field?
I really, really like it. It's one of my favorite pieces on the soundtrack, actually.
Yeah, same for me, but then again, there's really only like 2 tracks that stick out to me. But no, personally, most of the nostalgic tunes from Zelda tend to be the overworld theme, or whatever the equivalent is. You know, like in Wind Waker, it would be the Great Sea.
Yeah.
I just really love that I can listen to it, and you can feel the expansiveness and other things.
One overworld theme that sticks out for me, and we'll get to this down the line, is Spirit Tracks' overworld theme.
I knew you were gonna say that, and you made me so happy.
It's just too good, mate. Come on, opponent. You gotta be on the field. That's where horses go. She got kidnapped, didn't she?
Another female we have to save? Really, Nintendo?
you just taking equality back like 50 years.
Or maybe opponent got banished to the horse dimension.
Yeah, the horse realm.
It's like the Shadow Realm and the Twilight Realm. It's just right next to it.
Otherwise known as Rohan. Ah, here he comes.
Oh, the postman. I used to call him the mailman, but apparently that's not politically correct, so he's the postman.
Well, shouldn't it be post-person?
Yeah, but we've yet to have a female one. Get on it, Nintendo. But honestly, you can't really talk about the postman unless you talk about another Zelda character, the Running Man.
Yep.
He was in a side quest that we elected to keep out of the Ocarina of Time playthrough, but pretty much he was a guy that ran around Hyrule Field and had an obsession with rabbits. Like, he said that they could hear the voice of the gods, which Guy must have been toking some serious shit to be thinking that.
That's why Hylians have long ears, by the way. It said they have those so they can hear the gods.
Holy shit, I did not know that!
Yep.
Dang! Well, anyway, the Running Man had a counterpart in Termina, and he was the first postman in the Zelda series, and then after that, he started to become a mainstay. But the one attribute that they all have in common is the image of a rabbit on their hat, and if you notice, also on the flag. And it could also be a reference back to A Link to the Past, where when Link goes into the Dark World, he becomes a bunny.
Yeah, it's like poetry, it rhymes. Oh, really missing a Epona right about now.
But your rolling is so much faster. It's actually 9 speed units faster. 9.9 actually, but no one's keeping count. No, I don't remember the exposition I got 5 minutes ago.
Honestly, I just kind of tune out. It's like in one ear, out the other.
I just pretty much go where the linear geography takes me anyways. It's like, I can't really go anywhere else.
This is going to be the Kingdom Hearts 2 of our Zelda playthroughs. Where, you know, I have to tune out a lot of exposition if I'm ever going to make it through this.
Kinda weird that you would say that, considering the similarities between the two games. Bad touch! Bad touch!
And in we go.
The Twilight Realms have really long load times. This game, they're not too noticeable, but when you do run into a load screen, oh my god, it's pretty jarring.
Well, there shouldn't be any load times in Zelda ever, I think.
Yeah, but this is... I guess it was because it was late GameCube, early Wii. They didn't really know the hardware limitations, so they just kept them, the same load times that they were using.
Speaking of load times and whatnot, there won't be any in the Wii U game, which I'm really looking forward to.
I am so looking forward to going literally anywhere I want.
See those mountains? You can go to them.
I love that line! It was like he was talking right at my soul. He was like, do you guys remember Zelda 1? Yes, I do. Do you remember how expansive it was? Oh my god, yes, I do!
Let's just hope it doesn't turn into like a Peter Molyneux type situation where they say you can do something and then come release date it turns out you can't actually do that thing.
Or it's a technicality. It's like, well, technically you're standing here, but there's nothing to do. It's like, oh, thanks.
Here we have a new mechanic for the wolf, the scent system. Do you want to explain how it works, mate?
It doesn't really have too much to do in terms of, like, actual gameplay. It's just it's a story mechanic. You're gonna get it to track the kids and other monsters, but really, like I said, it's just to progress the story and to give Wolf Link some more qualities.
It's a bit like runner vision, if you will. It shows you the path you need to take.
Except it's yellow and smoky, and you're actually smelling dirty kids.
Ugh. These guys are more of a nuisance than anything else.
Padding, 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 and it's never ending.
I'm pretty sure we could leap that if we put our, hearts and souls into it.
Or, we could use the boomerang to long jump across it. I mean, because the thing about this gourd is that it's one of the big roadblocks in a Twilight Princess speedrun, because you'll normally skip doing the entire first dungeon. However, if you skip that, this sequence, this little tutorial that Midna's given you, doesn't occur. So you essentially hit a roadblock where, you can't progress the game. So they went through a lot of effort to find a lot of setup strats, just anything, to find a way to pretty much jump on that fence and then use the long jump from the boomerang to just leap across the gorge and skip anything having to do with the woods.
Yeah, Mexi actually showed me that before we started recording. If I remember, when it comes time to post this video, I'll try and post it in the comments. If not, look out for it on Twitter or something.
It kind of just shows that this game has a lot of interesting setups. Like, in order to skip the gorge, you had to line up with a speck of dirt, but you also had to have this blade of grass still on your screen. It was very technical. Also, check it out. There's Chekhov's bridge. Totally didn't come back into play.
I wonder where the bridge is. Let me just turn on my sensors here. Oh, look, found it.
Twilight Princess has now become an episode of Dora the Explorer. Can you find the bridge? The bridge!
Ganon, no swiping. Puzzles just seem to get easier in the Zelda franchise over time.
Well, outside the dungeon, they got a little bit easier. Thankfully, a lot of the in-dungeon puzzles have still remained on some sort of caliber of good.
Yeah. You say what you will about Minish Cap being short and easy, but like in between the dungeons, it's surprisingly vague sometimes what you're meant to do to progress the plot.
I actually like that. Then again, I'm one of those weird people where I actually have more fun in a game where I don't know where I'm going. Like, yeah, it gets frustrating after a while, but to just be told right off the bat, oh, hey, you finished this dungeon, go there. That gets a bit ridiculous to me.
I sort of agree, but I like being given a destination and then being given the freedom to do what I want in the meantime.
I mean, then again, with Minish Cap it kind of works because you always have the central hub of Castletown, or at least if you're really truly stuck, there are areas you can remember to go back to for a safe haven. Like, if it was just a big open world with lots of towns, yeah, that would almost get overwhelming, but luckily, one town with lots of freedom works out very nicely.
Okay, let's head on over to Kakariko Village, I think.
Yep, Kakariko coming back again. First originally appeared in A Link to the Past, which was a town discovered by Impa, even though she never steps foot in the town.
Well, technically in Ocarina of Time, there is the Shadow Temple, which is situated at the back of Kakariko Village.
Yeah, they brought that back. I guess they were trying to do more of a tie because A Link to the Past didn't have it all that well. Ocarina of Time tried to mend it by making it blatantly obvious that Kakariko had some sort of, like, dark secret Shiken past. But in this one, it's just a quiet little mountain town.
Booyah.
So funny when enemies have no idea what's coming for them.
What kind of guards were those, really? They weren't even looking at the gate. I mean, they've taken over this town. They don't need to be looking towards it.
Well, let no survivors escape? I don't know. Well, that actually could be a smart idea. I like how the shadow monsters also sort of have a canine quality to themselves, because it kind of looks like they're sniffing the ground.
Yeah.
You know, sort of like they're dogs themselves.
Well, the lack of proper defined faces also gives them kind of like an animalistic nature, and just the way they move and whatnot.
So it's always kind of cool that they combined a very animalistic design or aesthetic to it, and they were able to so neatly put it together with, like, the synth techno sounds and the, like, pixelated design. So it was really cool how they meshed together that nature and technology in these animals.
You could say Twilight Princess hasn't aged well, and I would have to agree with that, honestly. But where it mattered, they made very smart design choices in terms of like visual and sound design. Those hold up, not so much the graphical style, I'd say.
Yeah, but that's technology, unfortunately. Like, I really don't like holding it against the game when it's, like, over a decade old. It's like, oh, these graphics look terrible. It's like, well, what do you fucking expect?
Well, you say that, but it had N64 ground textures and it was a GameCube game, so...
Yeah, well, definitely. When they cut corners, it just makes it even worse. And at the same time, even if the graphics fade away, there are still plenty of ways to keep the game looking young and fresh over a decade later, but that involves having a unique aesthetic.
Gonna get me a whole bunch of light wine with these light grapes.
Gonna get light drunk, yo!
No, I only have one speed when it comes to talking. Why do you ask?
I'm trying to make sure you understand me. Would you like me to repeat that? No!
Oh, Jesus. One of the light spirits is just Corporea Gaboria.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I'm honestly surprised that they don't have the Corporea Gaboria yes-no option with repeating being the default. Yes, I'm still pissed off about that.
Some things just never leave. Some grudges you can never let go.
The darkness is everywhere. Yeah, I'm kind of living in it. I can tell.
Don't pay attention to that. The darkness isn't literally hunting you. There's not like some kind of Dehaka being that will follow you if you take too long. That'd
be kind of cool, you know? Make the Twilight Realm just sort of Silent Hill-like. And there's just looming dark creatures ready to pounce on you at any second if you decide to idle around.
Yeah, there's not like actually. I'll give Skyward Sword a bit of an uplift here, some props, if you will. The Silent Guardians were a really cool way of adding danger to the Silent Realms.
And no, it's not just because of the music, even though the music helps immensely. They're also very foreboding, and they're very intimidating. But since Tom decided to give Skyward Sword a 1-up, I should give Twilight Princess a 1-up and say one of the things I love about it is that it has such a big cast. Yes, Majora's Mask also had one, and that's part of the reason I love it. But Twilight Princess has a lot of actually plot-relevant characters in it, which I enjoy. I mean, when a game is just full of NPCs, it doesn't matter how big the world is or how free-roaming it is, it will always feel empty. So to have NPCs with personalities that have something to do with the story is a big plus in my book, and kudos to you, Twilight Princess, for having it.
Well, at least we know the kids are okay now. That's one of the mysteries solved. Not sure where Ilia is, though. I don't really see her in this crowd.
She went to go shopping or something. She had to go get some shoes. I don't know, girl things. Yeah, that guy's name is Barnes, which I've read that it's meant to be a pun off Burns. It's more obvious with his French name, because it's actually a pun off the word charred. But in the English, maybe if you speak with a heavy enough accent?
They would actually bring back the name Burn for, yeah, again, Spirit Tracks.
Oh, but every name in Spirit Track is a pun, like, to a painful level.
Yeah, like Arngene.
I get it.
These are actually two of my favourite NPCs, Renato and Burn. They play off each other very well.
And despite the dreads and the gown, Renaud is a gentleman. And one of the girls in the bunch, that's his daughter, Luda. It would have been more interesting if he had another child and named it Chris. Because then he could have Luda and Chris!
Funny, Mexi. Very funny.
I'm here all week, don't forget to tip your waitress. Oh, Link's got a fanboy!
You hearing the sad music? Oh, cool, it's not just me then.
It would have been hilarious if Barnes can actually hear the soundtrack, and that's why everyone thinks he's crazy.
Indeed. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.